Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome into the number one Group of Five college football podcast in the world. This is the Group of Five guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media refuses to be. We need everybody's help to do that. We need you to hit the follow button on all the social platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcasts. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a 5-star rating, leave a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. Or you can go to the Varsity app, download that for free, listen to the show on there. On this episode, we're going to recap the Wednesday and Thursday games. Down go the Liberty Flames, a new favorite in Conference USA. We're going to talk about the Friday and Saturday games, maybe recap Halloween a little bit. And then the main topic of discussion is, would you rather have a first round home playoff game or a bye week? Hope you enjoy the show. Have you had it from somebody born and raised in Lafayette, Louisiana, at a tailgate? Doubt it.
I said Michael Pratt has got to show up and play, and boy did he. 394 yards, 4 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards on the ground, and another touchdown.
Projected getting drafted between the first and third round, that's incredible. The wide receivers are absolutely stacked for the Group of Five.
Yeah, I really appreciate you do for the Group of Five programs, and I think it's great. I think we should get more of this. But you guys are on the forefront of this, and
I'm thankful for this. I'm glad that you're talking about the Group of Five because I think they get overlooked.
But it's a ton of fun to watch a guy go to the NFL from a Nevada or a Colorado State or a Middle Tennessee or an App State, and fans follow that kid.
Do you know what the dumbest thing in all of sports is, Jeff?
I think I have an idea.
I don't understand why this continues to happen at every level of football, but it happened again last night, and we have to talk about it because it was one of our favorite Group of Five players from a year ago. Malachi Corley for the Jets has himself a touchdown, but he begins his celebration before he crosses the goal line, and he drops the ball in play. Touchdown reviewed, touchdown overturned. I cannot for the life of me even understand what the thought process is here of doing. What is the benefit to starting your celebration sooner rather than literally one step later? I don't get it.
I mean, it just really boils down to, kind of it's all about me mentality. I got to get to my celebration. This is what's important. Not going to finish the play. And part of it's just excitement. I get it. You're going to score, man.
Yeah,
This is a big moment in the game. But you got to just get into the end zone. We had coaches growing up. Stock was a big, act like you've been there before, pal. Can't do it. You just can't do it. And it didn't end up hurting them. They ended up winning, but
yeah. Well, and you know what you need to drill into their head, especially in the NFL, is with their bonus incentives.
Yeah.
A certain amount of touchdowns scored and whatnot. It's boy, you could cost yourself $250,000 doing something like that.
No doubt.
But it goes back to, you're right. At every level of sport, regardless of sport, football, baseball, basketball, hell, soccer, and when I was 5, didn't play past then. But every coach you ever had was, what was it, Jeff? It was run through the line.
Yeah,
is what everything you ever did and practiced was. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they don't do those anymore. Maybe that's a lost art, finishing the drill and things like that. But man, it drives me nuts. There's not a play in football that drives me crazier. And those are the things that are worse. Those and the the real idiotic, unsportsmanlike penalties.
Yeah.
You just like the obvious, like ref is standing there and you decide to like, give a little open hand jab and like you blow a first down, or you give, you're about to hold them, games on the line, and you do something like that. Like those are the things. But even those unsportsmanlike, you can kind of see like emotions in this game of football are something different. And a lot of times, the mentality that makes somebody good at football is the same, unfortunately, mentality that makes them, do
Yeah.
something like that. It's that controlled emotion, that controlled aggression, as the great coach Herman Boone once said, at the T.C. Williams High School in Virginia. But man, it's frustrating. But anyway, just had to talk about that. Jeff, how was the Halloween in the Murphy family?
And we had rain. Had a bunch of rain. We went downtown the square. They always do like right after school a trick or treating, all the businesses. So Domenico's obviously was handing out candy. The kids were there, and we took them a lap around there, and then went to our boy Shane Blizzard's house and neighborhood. They usually host a Halloween party. Former MTSU receiver, and had a great time, man. The rain sucked. It was pretty much kind of off and on. Not heavy downpours, but steady rain to light mist, and we still got after it. Went out, hit the neighborhood, and just had a great time, man. That's what it's about.
That's big time. Yeah, we had a great. I mean, it was hot. It was hot. We started going with the kids. We took our kids like right at 5. Like our neighborhood does like 5 to 8 is kind of the mayor.
Yeah.
I know we're all into mayors lately, but the mayor's kind of window is 5 o'clock to 8. So we took the little ones at 5, and we pretty much went for them. Like, we walk like up and down. We take one little loop, and then we just go sit in the driveway. Everybody's got their music going. Our neighborhood did food trucks this year, which was big time. And then, I think I went through 20 pounds of candy.
Wow.
Yeah. Our neighborhood is like, for Halloween, it's like the destination neighborhood just because it's freaking huge. I mean, listen, you've been in here, like bunch of houses, they all look the same, bunch of streets all look the same, but boy, do we partake in the Halloween celebrations. Then there's this guy riding around. He's got an ATV and he's got like a makeshift little train behind it. I'm like, this is pretty good. This is pretty creative. But then see, I do have to gripe just a little bit, Jeff.
You're turning into such an old man.
And I'm going to say something here. I thought last night, I trick-or-treated. I think I pretty much quit trick-or-treating like once I got to high school, I think, if I remember correctly. Because then you start doing like Halloween, like parties or whatever. You're like hanging out. But, I know we did stupid things at Halloween, right? If somebody left their bowl on the front porch, like I'd grab a lot of candy, put it in my pillowcase. And last night, I thought the teenagers, the middle schoolers, the high schoolers were awesome. They're polite. I mean, thank you, kind of like interacting with my kids, and I was like, wow, this is great. You know who the people are that are the worst?
Parents.
It's the adults.
Yeah.
Like our age, older than us. Sometimes, and I'm just like, man, like everybody wants to always talk about the youth. That's what everybody's always telling you, the youths. They always this and that. And then people like last night. So it was pretty funny. So like a couple of the kids. So then and people drive to our neighborhood, right? That live in apartments nearby or live in some of the other neighborhoods that are not as desirable. So they drive and they park. Now they don't typically get to the neighborhood until like 8 o'clock, 8:30. They're kind of wandering about till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So by that time I'm inside, I just got whatever's left of my candy just in the bowl. And I'm hoping one of them takes all of it. Well, there was a group that somebody caught on their Ring camera taking like their whole bowl of candy. But then, dude, you know what they did, Jeff? They posted it on our Facebook page. Somebody better get these kids before they get hurt. And I'm like, I did that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a teenager trick-or-treating and taking some extra candy, or on other Thursday nights in this neighborhood, the teenagers are breaking into cars.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, if you catch them or if their parent catches them, like hopefully they just, you know, whatever, smack on the wrist, call it a day. But it's like you want to embarrass the kid. Like
Yeah.
I hate when people don't remember how they were. And like again, there's certain things that are like, you know, let's relax a little bit. He stole a couple Tootsie Rolls. You know what I mean? From a well, I didn't even steal. He grabbed a couple extras. You know what I mean? I'm just like
to take a page out of our boy Swagbear's book. There's other atrocities going on in the world that are way bigger than Jimmy and Jason taking a few extra candy bars,
taking a couple lollipops. And why do you even care? You know, you couldn't come to just sitting outside and handing out candy, so you just put it out there.
That's
and then you want to, I mean, come on, man. And why do you even care? Because you wanted some extra candies to take to work tomorrow, you know?
Yeah. Odds are you don't need it, pal.
No, you don't. No, you don't. They don't need a lot of that stuff.
No, you get the calorie intake up, the sugar spikes, the insulin spikes.
Then I'm about to get on a tangent here, Jeff, but did you see in California, in your great state of California, they banned all the red dyes and stuff? All the
you know what? That they should.
Yeah.
The fact that they haven't done California, that is ridiculous.
California that's one of the things that I like. They're a relatively healthy, like, and they're conscious about that stuff. Now they'll probably go over the top, start forcing kids to eat, you know, manufactured meats and stuff like that.
Tofu.
But you know what the funny thing about it is? I mean, here's the truth though. Like all the dyes and stuff, like the things that they're in, it's like you probably red dye or not shouldn't be eating that a whole lot anyway. But no, I'm with you.
Well, you know what doesn't have red dye, Sprouse?
I was just great transition, Jeff. I know exactly what doesn't, and that's Deca Gray coffee. None of the blends. We probably should read the ingredients and make sure.
No, it's coffee.
It's just coffee.
That's what it is.
Yeah, just coffee beans. Yeah, Deca Gray Coffee Company. Look, you guys know the drill. Help those that are trying to help this thing move along, and that's Deca Gray Coffee Company. Visit decagray.com. Get you the Group of Five Guys Game Day Dark Roast or any of the great roasts they have on there. He's probably got 8 or 10 different
at least
flavors, you know, between kind of the light roast, breakfast blend, dark roast, pumpkin space. They got the peppermint Christmas something on there. Use our code GOFG, 10% discount plus free shipping. This is roast to order coffee. You put it in your cart, you type in your card number, your PayPal, you click purchase. Now they roast it. Now they put it in the bag. Now they send it to your house. Really good stuff. Group of Five Guys Game Day Dark Roast, obviously my favorite. decagray.com. Make sure you check them out.
Yeah, I want to shout out the live chat. We got Shay Gordon in there. He says large Decagray Group of Five Game Day Roast in the coffee mug. You got Janet Norwood as well. Got some Game Day Roast in the French press going. So appreciate you guys. If you're on Facebook watching or Twitter, come over to the YouTube live chat. We always got a great back and forth with our live listeners throughout the show. So come on over to the YouTube. Guys, please hit subscribe. We need to get these numbers up. We're trying to take this thing full time, and we cannot do it unless we get your help. Share, retweet, comment. Need you guys to help us out there.
You know, Shay said 2 large cups. This might be a 2 large pot day because
I'm struggling.
We got a 10:30 p.m. kickoff tonight with our Heisman hopeful, Mr. Ashton Genty, playing San Diego State tonight, 10:30. So we may have to brew an evening pot, and it's not going to be decaf.
Sneaky great matchup with 2 phenomenal running backs in the Mountain West going head-to-head.
Marquez Cooper, San Diego State, historically great defensive fronts. Boise State, we know what they're about. So we'll talk about that one here in a minute. Jeff, speaking of Boise State, here's the topic of discussion for today, my friend. We posted this on Twitter. Got mixed reviews, I think. I'm probably about 50-50, and I should have made it a poll versus just making it a response. But, the response helps the algorithm, so that's why I did it that way. Would you rather, you're a playoff team, would you rather the 5 through 8 seed and have a first-round home game on campus, or get a 1 through 4 seed and have a first-round bye and then a second-round neutral site, standard traditional bowl site second round game?
This is just me. I want the home game. That's what I want, because I feel like if I get the home game, I am, 5, 6, or 7
Or 8?
or 8. And odds are I'm playing a favorable matchup. And the biggest thing that I want to see from the group of 5 in the playoff is I want to win. That's what I want. And I think having the home field advantage, having it at your stadium, in your university, in your town, is going to give you not only a phenomenal environment, it's going to highlight the university even more on the national stage. It's going to get more eyes on it. And I believe that we have the best shot to beat that 9, 10, 11, or 12 seed. I want the home game. That's what I want. I see both sides to it. Going on the road, being the underdog, all those things definitely are something that I would like as well. But if I'm sitting there looking at it and I'm a playoff team, I want that home game. It's more revenue. Yeah. It's just all the things. There's so many benefits to having a home playoff game as opposed to a neutral site game after the bye week.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. The pro to the bye week, right, is you get healthy, hopefully. You get some guys that are maybe banged up, get them back. Now, that first round game is going to be, what, 2 weeks after or 3 weeks after?
2 weeks after the championship game.
So you're going to get a bye week anyway. Now, my fear with another bye week is now you haven't played in 3 weeks. How many times do we see teams? You see this in the NFL when they get a bye week going for the playoffs, is you take so much time off and now you're rusty, or now, you got to kind of work through some stuff in the first 2 or 3 drives of a game where, yeah, you might have to play an extra game. You might get some guys banged up. But to me, if you can get a home game and win it, talk about the momentum you're going to have. And here's my other thing, selfishly, for the group of 5's sake. I would rather win a home game in the first round and then lose in the second round versus the risk of losing without a win. And then, oh boy, we're going to have to get on here and put the armor on because we're going to get crushed by the media of the world. But, I don't know. Of course, you think, if you get a bye week, one less win that we got to get. You know what I mean? I mean, at that point, you only got to win 2 games and you're in the national championship. So,
yeah, again, there's pros and cons to both positions. You know what I want? I just want 2 teams in.
I want
2 teams
100%.
in. We can give one the bye at the 4 seed, and then we get the other one at like a 7 or 8. Get Boise. Let's get Boise get the bye. Let's get Army to get the home game at West Point, and let's just freaking roll, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that ain't happening. As much as I would love for it to happen.
Wishful thinking. Honestly, Sprouse, anything can happen. This college football season has been pretty crazy already to start. You never know. I want it to be so chaotic for the committee.
But Jeff,
that they're forced to.
I was told by Tim Branto that the group of 5 was just slotted for the 12. I thought that was the rule. Here we are 10 weeks into the season, and I'm a national media member, and I'm just now finding out the rules to this thing that I've been pumping out every week since July.
Hack. Absolute hack.
And it's not even just him. I mean, the first couple weeks of the season, you had ESPN people talking about it, putting up graphics, talking about it, slotting them in the 12 spot. And I think I'll credit, this group of 5 community and stuff because they got cooked on socials for that. I mean, for just being wrong. And it's not us saying, oh no, how dare you? We deserve to be higher than 12. It's like, no, that's not the rule. Like you don't even have the rule correct. So I don't know, man. It's baffling to me that these people, their job, it reminds me, Jeff, I hate to say it. It reminds me of our regular national media and the problem that you have, especially in sports. This is why I think sports media is worse than regular media, is many of the topics that are covered by the media, the casual person is not educated on. It's like me. When these guys get up there and I get Mark Cuban and talking about the tax code, I'm like, buddy, I don't really know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And then, but with this is you have these casual football fans or these fans that are like, ride or die for the team that's 5 hours away from where they grew up and 5 hours away from their alma mater, that they ride for these schools so hard that they literally don't know. That's all they know is like, did my team win or not? They don't even know what the hell they're watching most of the time, but they pretend to be these huge diehard fans. And then when you got the media going up there telling them like, oh, G5 is slotted for the 12, they're like, okay, that makes sense. Or you got these same media people going up there saying, well, Boise State doesn't play anybody. That's why Ashton Genty is doing this. And they're like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Mountain West, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. I don't watch any of it. So you have these narratives that are so easy to be pushed because people are unaware. And then what you have,
go ahead.
well, then what you have is people that you think are educated and they watch the same thing. Let's pretend they watch the same game or they watch the same, presidential debate. And one side of the aisle is like, oh, that was a terrible showing by X candidate. And the other side of the aisle is like, what? Did we watch the same thing there?
Yeah, it's
And
wild.
It's kind of how I felt watching Boise State UNLV. Oh, Genty only had. I'm like, what? Did you watch it? That guy's
they only had over
battling
100
3 and
yards.
4 tacklers on every play.
It's wild stuff, man.
Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say our good friend Joe Judkins was going back and forth. Never got any answers from the guy. Of course, per usual with those pundits.
Joe said I punked him. Well, that's what they do. That's exactly right. That's what they do too. They make. I mean, all Joe did was ask him a question. And for those of you that are on here that are maybe not on Twitter, so this is what happens. So Tim Brando, guy's got like 200,000 Twitter followers, puts out his Tim Brando poll, top 10 or whatever it is, top 15. And he has Boise below 12 or at 12 or something like that. And Joe said, why do you media people always insist on putting Boise State at 12 or the group of 5 at 12? And you would have thought Joe attacked his family. Tim Brando said, maybe do some research and know the rules before you make an ass out of yourself or something like that. And then, so he freaking goes on attack. Number one, he's being a dick. He goes on the attack like this. And he's trying to use his platform. He's trying to use Twitter to be a bully, honestly. But so not only is he being a bully and a dick, but he's wrong.
Yeah,
and so he gets flamed, buddy. I mean, I'm talking about everybody, even non-group of 5 people that just don't like him. Just cooked his ass.
He should, man. That's what we got to start doing to these stupid idiots on social media and the sports. I guess they got their own channel or whatever. It's like you don't even understand what you're talking about, but this is what they do for a living. I don't understand,
man.
And not that we got it all figured out, but like I'll just come on here and be like, yeah, I was wrong. I didn't understand.
Wrong about a lot.
Yeah.
Well, I think and this is a conversation you and I have had multiple times, right? I mean, unfortunately, the recipe for making it big in this is sometimes saying stupid stuff. You watch Brandon Walker get up there, and I don't know that he's ever said an far and few.
He's
got his own show. He's got doing it full time. Anyway, I did make all these trick or treaters watch the ones that came past 7:30. Watch Tulane at Charlotte last night.
There we go.
Good game for a little bit.
It was closer than I thought.
Man, and shout out to the Charlotte students. Let me tell you something. Charlotte, as much as we say support the team no matter what, it's about the players. If you don't like the coach, if you don't like the admin, you still got to go support the players. It doesn't always work like that. So to me, Charlotte, I think you got to figure it out sooner rather than later, because I think you're going to lose what you've got if you don't. Yeah, and I fear for that. right now they kind of got this. It's kind of a new thing, in Charlotte a little bit, and they're doing a really good job, the students. And I'm going to give credit to probably, I don't know this, but I would give credit to like the Greek leaders and
Yeah.
your student leaders, because they're the ones driving everybody to come to the game. I mean, Jeff, we talk about this all the time. I'll never forget. We went to Charlotte on a Friday night. We went to App State, Marshall, and Boone on a Thursday night. And then Middle was playing at Charlotte. And we thought, you know what? Hey, we're relatively close. Let's just go. Honestly, let's just go watch Middle. Let's just go see Coach Stock. I mean, that was our main motive for going. And then shout out to our boy Sloan Allison, linked us up with Will Healy at the time. And that turned out to be one of my favorite trips we've ever had.
It was awesome.
I mean, from the treatment we got from the Charlotte, staff and coaches and everything. And then, we get down there on the field pregame, and we're kind of sitting in there like, we're like, man, there, both teams were, well, was it late in the year? I feel like both teams were
it
like
wasn't super late, but
4 and 6 or
they're both
something,
middle
or
of the
3
road.
and 5. Like neither team was very good. And then like even like 20 minutes before the game, there's like nobody in there, and we're like, well, that's all right. But then all of a sudden, boy, them students started filing in, and we were like, oh, this place is electric. And they were rowdy. I mean, they were going back and forth with all the players.
Talking
I mean,
trash.
love that. Gotta love that. But anyway, on the game, I mean, this was a Mekhi Hughes show, right? I mean, that guy had like the first 8 plays of the game were like Mekhi Hughes run.
27 carries, 117 yards, 2 touchdowns, man. That's those old school performances that we're starting to get out of this team. Especially you get into the winter months, they start playing some road games, or, outside chance if they happen to make it to the playoff and they got to go on the road. Having a running back like that can dominate and take over a game. And then you get the pick 6 as well on defense.
Yeah. It's another example for my case study that the running back is going to come back. This is 90s running back stuff. This is Emmitt Smith stuff. You remember those days? You remember the Cowboys? I mean, Troy Aikman, sure, great player, but a lot of people would say he benefited from everybody around him. I mean, that guy had an all-time offensive line.
Yeah.
Emmitt Smith running the ball. He had great tight end. Jay Novacek. Remember that name, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, same with John Elway in Denver. Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp. I mean,
Terrell Davis is out there with a concussion and he's blind in the Super Bowl.
Just give me the ball.
We got quarterbacks tapping out on 3rd and goal now because they're tired, Jeff.
I can't with that. Can I just say I believe when we talked about the draft, he was another one. I was like, guys, he ain't it. He's not going to translate to the NFL. I don't know why everybody's so high on him, and not the bad guy. He's benched this week, but
yeah,
you can't as a quarterback. There's a few positions on the offensive side of the ball you ain't coming out if you're tired. Offensive line and especially quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hell, call a run play the next play. Catch your breath. There's so many different options. You tapping out in the middle of a game in that situation, you just lost all the respect from your teammates. Anyways, great game though. Tulane, Charlotte. So we got a little sidetrack.
Well, and Tulane, they had a drive. It was like their first or second drive. Didn't they go 20 plays in one drive? I mean, they just chewed. I mean, that was like, just like it wasn't. It wasn't a blowout in the way of big plays. You know what I mean? It was just like and then Charlotte in the first half. I don't think they had a drive go more than 5 plays. And I mean, they couldn't do anything, could not do anything. And Tulane was doing pretty much everything they wanted. But man, I mean, it's
a dominant performance.
That was a pretty dominant performance. Then you go back to Wednesday, Kennesaw State, Western Kentucky. Veltkamp was just efficient again, Jeff. 17 to 22, 276, and 3 teeters.
He's taken over. He's had a couple, obviously you have moments, he throw a couple picks here and there, but he has been locked in, ready to go, efficient, like you said, over 70% again, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. This is why Western's where they're at in the conference, undefeated. Look like the favorite right now. I mean, they really do. Outside of our good friend, becoming our
Gamecocks.
good friend Jordan, his Gamecocks.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, so let's talk about that because Western. I mean, look, Kennesaw State. Although they beat Liberty last year, we know what Kennesaw State. They're struggling. Let's talk Jack State Liberty for a little bit. So Jack State at the beginning of the year looked bad, real bad. Then all of a sudden you get this two-headed running monster of your quarterback Tyler Huff and your running back Trey Stewart, and all of a sudden this team looks better than it's ever looked. Better than it looked last year. Their running game, I mean, we were texting in the group chat, Jeff. Like Trey Stewart and that run game is gashing Liberty. I mean, gashing them. So you're right. You tweeted that, Jeff. Was that November 30th? Jack State at Western Kentucky.
Big game. Bowling Green. Do we make our way up? I don't know. We'll figure that out. But 27 carries, 232 yards, 4 touchdowns for Trey Stewart. That's a ridiculous. That's video game stat line numbers.
It is.
And then you add Huff's performance of 130 on the ground. Hell, they threw the ball 10 times. They don't even really need to throw it.
Yeah, they don't have to. And it's funny, because you go back to preseason. This is football is so funny, man. You go back to preseason, and what were we talking about when we were talking about the best offensive lineman? We're looking at Clay Webb. We're looking at this Jacksonville State offensive line. But then the first couple games happen, and it's like maybe they're not that good. And then here we are in a conference play, and they're starting to look like we thought they were going to look.
Well, you got to give Huff a lot of credit because he came in and he's been able to run this and this zone read. It's like triple option. They have schematic plays from the triple option, but it's a lot of the newer zone reads, and he just runs it to perfection. And then his athletic ability as well. On top of that, it's just been awesome to watch. I mean, they're dominant. Their run game is dominant, and that's if you have a great running game, you're going to be in most of the games because odds are you're not going to turn it over as much when you throw it 40, 50 times a game. You keep the other offense on the sideline. You keep the clock churning, so your time of possession goes in your favor. Turnovers, time of possession, explosive plays. They win a lot of those, and that's why they're undefeated in conference.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's talk Liberty for a second. I got to say, I talked about it the other week after they lost to Kennesaw, but I'm starting to get real frustrated watching Caden Salter play. And it's not just necessarily his play, it's the body language. It's he makes bad plays and bad decisions, and he's got this giggle, like sort of lazily giggling around. I don't know, man. I think this goes back to my point I've been talking about with these guys. They get their NIL money, they start playing worse, but they don't care. This is I don't know. It's a huge, huge red flag to me when you're playing worse than you did a year ago and your body language is getting bad. And it's like, then you add an unsportsmanlike penalty too. I mean, I don't know, dude. You're costing your team the game. You say what you want about not getting the help, but man, you're making the dumb plays. You're doing the dumb stuff that you can control.
Yeah, and he hasn't thrown the ball as well as he did a year ago, and I don't know necessarily what to contribute that to. Is it, play calling? Is it just not, you lose your top receiver to LSU, I believe is where he went, and then he has the bad pick late. They still had a chance. At that point, they were down by 7, I think, and then he throws a bad pick. I mean, just like late on an out route. Guy picks it, almost runs it back. And at that point, the game, I mean, it's it because they go in and score, now they're up by 2 scores. Yeah. And then after he threw that pick, the camera's on him. You got to know it. And you just got this smirk on your face walking off the field. And I'm just like, I don't know. Not my favorite look for him. I know, you have contingents of every fan base, but there's a lot of Liberty fans that are not happy, but look, guys, you're still 5-2. 1 win gets you a bowl eligible. Still have an outside chance. You got to have some help to make it to the conference championship, but you got to start playing better. You can't give up 364 yards rushing and expect to win football games.
Can't do it. Yeah, and they're going to need a lot of help to have any shot at winning this conference at this point. But they still got to play Western. I mean, you already got 2 losses, and you still haven't played the other favorite in this conference. Well, let's talk Friday night. Couple games. Georgia State at UConn. UConn, Jeff, 5-1 at home.
Yeah.
The UConn, first of all, they've only played 2 road games. They've lost both of them. but 5-1 at home. Only loss at home was by 3 to Wake Forest. I think Georgia State's going to be in trouble going up there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, like you said, UConn is a lot better at home. And I'm sort of rooting for Jim Mora. He kind of fires me up.
I like him.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. I think Georgia State's going to struggle.
Yeah, South Florida at FAU, both teams coming off much needed bye weeks. I think South Florida is going to get back on the train here. I mean, you look at their schedule and they still haven't lost to anybody that you thought they shouldn't lose to. You know what I mean? So, now the way they've lost, that's questionable, but I still think South Florida's a pretty good team. I think they're going to roll.
Yeah, I think the bye week helps them get healthy. Is Byron Brown back to full health and form? We'll see. I think he should be. Which Cam Fancher are we going to get for FIU? Because if we get the Cam Fancher of North Texas for 3.5 quarters, I mean, FAU might have a chance here. But no, I think South Florida rolls as long as Byron Brown starts and he's good to go.
Yeah. Then in the nightcap tonight, San Diego State at Boise State. Did you see the $25 million donation that Boise State just got?
Sure did.
And I noticed that, one of the comments on it was people saying, this makes a lot of sense. Your big high dollar donors, they want to give to the program. They don't want to give to NIL because somebody said something, you're paying $25 million. You want your name on something. You want your name on the building. You know what I mean? You don't want to give it to some 18-year-old kid who might not even play. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm confident that the trend of this NIL getting out of control is going to just swing back a little bit. I think it will. I think people, and 25 million aside of that, I mean, I'm talking even just your they're not even regular big dollar donors, your 100,000 donors. Like, I don't think they're going to want to give to some kid if it's not panning out. I mean, I think you're going to see people start getting frustrated with some of it. I mean, if you gave money to keep Caden Salter at Liberty, you're probably not very, very excited right now to keep giving to NIL.
Yeah, we talked about when Chad Hassan was on. Revenue sharing's around the corner. It's essentially a foregone conclusion. So you give that $25 million to, the program. If they start revenue sharing, then the bigger their pot is, then they're going to have more to do, give out to certain players of their choosing. So unless they earmark it specifically for, facilities or something like that, but the game's going to change. I'm telling you, because every college athletics now, you have every sport is essentially going to have their own payroll. You got to figure out how much you're able to spend, how much you need to be successful. And football's a large number because you got so many guys. Basketball's a little bit smaller. It's like, but then you got to start getting into, you got to have good leadership in the athletic department. How do you value certain programs, and how do you allot this amount of dollars for this program? It's going to get crazy, but I agree with you. I think the pendulum is swinging back a bit because you're seeing players just not pan out, and we paid them a bunch of money.
Yeah, and then I think. Yeah, Shay said this in the chat like that, and it's kind of what Chad was saying regarding NIL, but it only takes one like family or person that truly cares about the program, and that's where for us, right? You want to see people that are in Nashville, like, or Murfreesboro, like, not give to Tennessee, like, make your local team.
Well,
the one,
Well, Sprouse, I'm on a fact-finding mission.
I know you are.
I'm setting up meetings with people, multiple people, by the way. And you know what? I'm pretty certain I'm going to reach out to McPhee's office once I'm done with these initial meetings, and I'm going to be like, "Hey, pal, I'm meeting with these city officials. I'm talking to them, trying to get info to see what they've been doing. Here's your chance to tell me what you've been doing on trying to connect and what your philosophy is for the university as a whole for athletics, whether you deem athletics important. I'll get your information. We'll compare and see what makes sense, what doesn't, and we'll try to figure out who's responsible for the lack of investment, lack of care, lack of communication over at MTSU. I'm determined at this point. I'm going to find it out, and we will report.
I like it. Well, let's talk these Saturday games. Air Force going to Army. First leg of the Commander-in-Chief's trophy for Army. Look, not only has Air Force been bad offensively, their run defense has been pretty poor too. I think Army's going to roll. And by the way, I haven't seen what Air Force's uniforms are, but Army's helmet is just so tight, dude. The skull and crossbones on it. I mean,
sick.
Big time. Yeah, but yeah, Army, I think, is going to roll. And then you got Memphis going to San Antonio to play UTSA. Traylor's already been sort of hedging this game, and I can respect a lot of Traylor's comments, when he's saying stuff about needing NIL and needing this and needing that. I haven't necessarily agreed with him here. He's kind of already saying, "Oh, Memphis is payroll and this and that."
Keeps beating that drum about San Antonio.
He really is. He really is. It's started to me. It's getting a little bit over the top, but either way, Memphis about to win this game. I think.
I think the 7 is close because it's in the Alamo Dome. I don't know how full it's going to be just because UTSA has struggled, and then after last week's meltdown performance,
it's going to be tough to get that team. Yeah, it's going to be real tough to get them back after that. So we'll see. Tulsa at UAB. Tulsa might be riding high. Tulsa may rattle off a bunch of wins here.
Yeah, I'm sort of rooting for Tulsa. I think they go into Birmingham and get it done.
Then Navy's at Rice. Can we get Navy back on track after an abysmal performance at MetLife last week against Notre Dame?
Yeah, I think they're pissed off. I think they're a little embarrassed. Horvath comes out on fire. I think they cover the 11 with ease.
Yeah, last Saturday Conference USA game for a little, first one in a little while. And then it's going to be the opposite in the MAC. Middle Tennessee going to El Paso at UTEP. I don't even really want to talk about it, to be honest with you.
Why? Because it's going to be a huge Middle Tennessee win. Is that why you don't want to talk about it? Now, our guy Tim Meadows, I'm sure, hopefully he'll be making the trip down to watch his son. But I think the Blue Raiders get it done here. If we can, I just worry because Maurice Westmoreland is a dog on the outside. If we can't at least slow him down a little bit, he's going to be in Vadiato's lap the entire game. At this point, honestly, I know you have to try and run the ball if you're middle. Let's just go 5 wide. Let's throw it 60 times. Keep it in Vadiato's hands. You got Amari Kelly on the outside. You got all these weapons. Holden Willis, absolute stud. I think they get it done. I think they have more firepower on the outside. And I'm still not sure what the quarterback situation's like at UTEP after Locklear got bludgeoned a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't like it at all. I just get so frustrated.
Should be a good rock fight.
Should be a good game. They say. Should be a good ball game. Should be a tight one. That 3 points is probably about right on.
It is.
In the MAC, the last Saturday game for a little bit as they go into MACtion. Buffalo at Akron. God, you want to just say, well, Buffalo easy, right? But they've not been consistent. Akron has played well, last week, and so I'm kind of leading towards the Zips here, Jeff.
Yeah, they got the win last week, which makes me, if that says anything about the MAC, they'll get blown out against Buffalo at home.
Yeah.
So give me Buffalo to win. Ogbona's been playing actually relatively well. It's got eight touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. I've been able to run around a little bit. Give me the Bulls.
All right. All right. Toledo at Eastern Michigan. Toledo's going to need this one to get themselves keep themselves in the mix here. 9.5-point favorites. I don't like that. I do think Toledo's going to get the win though.
I agree. I don't like the 9.5 for betting purposes, but I think they're pissed about last week. They still have an outside chance. They got to rattle off some wins, and I think it starts with Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, a couple potential snoozers in the Mountain West. You know, you get Boise and San Diego State tonight. You got Wyoming at New Mexico. I think New Mexico is going to win that one just because I don't think Wyoming can do much offensively or defensively, really. I mean, so give me New Mexico there. 7.5. I don't know. I think this is probably a lower scoring-ish game, but I'll take New Mexico there.
Yeah, I'll take New Mexico, and I'll take him to cover as long as Dampier can. He had a rough showing last week. I think they get the win, New Mexico.
And then Hawaii going to Fresno. Fresno -13. I think they'll win, and I think they'll cover. I think Fresno big here.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Fresno's starting to hit a little bit of a stride. Mikey Keene played better last week, so they cover.
Yeah, and then last one in the Mountain West is Colorado State at Nevada. Colorado State has been playing well. They've been winning in multiple different ways, which is good to see from them. I think they're going to keep winning here. I think I'm starting to believe, Jeff.
I am too. That's part of this thing, right? Who's getting hot at the right time, playing good ball. Nevada's quarterback Lewis is listed as probable, so that's something we need to keep an eye on. If he plays, same thing with Savion Red. He's questionable. If those guys are healthy, Nevada's a different team. Now, if they're not, I think Colorado State handles this game, and I think they cover the 2.5. So just got to keep an eye out on that injury report. See if you can get something right before kickoff.
Yep. On to the Sun Belt. This is the one where every game is like super important for all teams involved. First one, Old Dominion going to App. App coming off a win. How about this, Jeff? Hear me out. I was looking at some of these games throughout the week, and I was sitting there and I'm thinking, App State's already got 3 losses, but they play Old Dominion, who's got 1 loss. They still play Coastal, who's already got 2 losses. They still play James Madison, who's already got 2 losses. They still play Georgia Southern, who's got the 1 loss, but plays freaking South Alabama this weekend. Wouldn't it be something? Wouldn't it be something? Now, it's unlikely because those are 4 tough games for App State. But just wouldn't it be something if they found a way with not like a little bit of help, but not like any wild help, not like it wouldn't be crazy for Georgia Southern to lose to South Alabama and then lose to App State in a couple weeks. Wouldn't be crazy for App to beat Old Dominion and Old Dominion lose another game. So, wouldn't it be something if they found themselves in the mix by the time this month is over with?
It wouldn't shock me. Clark and the Mountaineers have done it before.
I say all that to say that's over with tomorrow because they're losing to Old Dominion.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. But Vegas knows a 3-point game. That is a tight contest.
It's in Boone.
It's in Boone, so you got to give them a couple points. I want to see Colton Joseph again. I want to see this kid, this freshman out of California. Go figure. Great quarterback, producing state.
Really?
Want to see him again and see if he can reproduce what he did a week ago, or at least something similar, because that was a phenomenal performance. And if he continues to play like that with their stingy defense, ODU is going to run away with the East. Big game right here. Big game.
Yep. Yeah. Because if ODU wins this thing, they're looking like the favorite.
Yeah.
Now I'm telling you this: you got ULM at Marshall. Marshall 10.5-point favorites at home here. Marshall is undefeated at home. But see, I'm telling you, Marshall to me still is. I like this Marshall team a lot. I think they're going to win this game. I don't know about by 10 points, but And Marshall's still sitting right there. The thing that worries me is they've got the head-to-head loss versus Georgia Southern, and Marshall still has some tough ones.
Yeah, we're going to find out a lot about Monroe. Were they for real? Were they not? Because Marshall, like you said, is a really good team. They're at home. They haven't lost. I think Marshall takes this game. I think the honeymoon phase is a little bit over for the Warhawks. 10.5. That's pretty large, though. I don't know if I'm necessarily buying the 10.5.
Yeah, I'm not really into that, but I'll take the herd. Coastal at Troy. Troy is getting closer and closer and closer to pulling off one of these wins. Troy people would love for it to be Coastal. I don't think it's happening though. I mean, I think Coastal. Look, Coastal still quietly just in the mix in this East, but again, you got to win. You got to whoever comes out of the next 3 or 4 games with 3 wins is going to win the East. That's how it's going to be. Whoever can find a way to streak here, is going to be the one to win the East. But I think Coastal will beat Troy.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Coastal has more veterans on their roster. They're a little, probably a little bit more athletic than Troy is. Troy just makes too many mistakes.
And here's the thing. I know the Georgia Southern folks are revolting because they lost a game the other night. They probably have the easiest path left in the East. They only have the 1 loss, and they have the head-to-head over Marshall. Now, this is their toughest game remaining at South Alabama in Mobile. South Alabama, we've been saying for a long time. It just depends on which one shows up. I don't know. I love my people down in Statesboro, but I don't think they're winning this game. I think South Alabama's going to win this thing.
If the team of South Alabama that we expected at the beginning of the year and that they showed up a week ago shows up, South is winning this game. I mean, they're dynamic. They have a great quarterback. They have great weapons around him. They should be able to score. But we've seen them disappear after kickoff. So I don't Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I think South has figured it out. I think they'll cover the 6.5. And they're at home. I'd like to see that stadium packed again. That was awesome.
I would too. I just realized I have my South Alabama souvenir cup I'm drinking my water out of today. So surely we have at least one Jacksonville State voicemail.
We got a bunch actually today, Sprouse.
Do we really?
Yes, we do.
I'm not going to lie to you, Jeff. I got to use the little boys' room here pretty quick.
Yeah, you're good.
So maybe we do a couple of them, or what do you want to?
Well, Terry's got a long one, and then he's got a short little second one. So I'll start with Terry's. You can run. Then when you come back, hop in here. Unless you want to wait for Terry's and listen.
I don't know if I'm gonna. I don't know if this is gonna be a one voicemail
I got you.
trip.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying here, Jeff?
Let's.
You want to test it out? I mean, I'll bring my phone with me and I'll listen to the voicemails. So I'll put my microphone on mute, and then I'll be back. How's that sound?
Yeah, that works.
And you got it. It's your show, pal.
I got you. Hey, appreciate you guys calling in. Keep them coming. Whatever you got, trash talk, post game, pre game. You got some information that we don't have. Look, guys, there's over 60 plus teams we're trying to cover. You guys have a better pulse on your team than we do. Call in, leave us a voicemail, 615-900-4286. It's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Let's start off with Terry Johnson after the big win.
Group of 5 guys, Terry Johnson here, and damn, that was a great Tuesday night win, man. Calling Wednesday morning, driving home from the gym, and just so excited for this team, happy with this team, man. It wasn't easy. Went into Bobcat Stadium, thought it was going to be a packed house on Tuesday night, but a very, underwhelming crowd, but didn't matter. The Cajuns got in front of the number 1 front 7 in the conference and got over 170 rushing yards on them. And, only allowed 1 sack, which, I can live with. They average 3 sacks a game, 3.5 sacks a game. But, defense got 2 turnovers, bend, don't break. Got into they kept, holding the Bobcat offense in the red zone. And, man, just a gritty win, man. A gritty win. And, shout out to Keon Martin, who got hurt that night. He's doing better. Thank God for that, man. In the end, win, lose, draw, all that matters is that, you have your family with you and the you're supported by your loved ones, and man. So I'm just happy that the young man is okay. But that win mattered more than you think. Got homecoming coming up against those damn Red Wolves of Arkansas State, and I hate them so much. I hate them so damn much, man. I want to shut them up so bad. But I'm very aggravated. This game, the next game, home game for it, isn't on ESPN2 or U or whatever. It's on ESPN Plus. That's a 7-1 ball team playing against a 5-3 ball team for first place in the West Division, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The guys are focused, and you know what? Like it just matters in the Sun Belt, man. Not saying we're gonna make it to the playoffs, but it's just funny it's kind of fun having the playoff implications, but as always, I gotta make sure that you keep that rat poison off the internet. You know what I'm saying? But damn, such a great win. And Texas State fans, they are just, they're okay. They're not bad, but they just think that they just belong in the Pac-12 and the American and, the SEC. They just have no proof of concept. Other than Creme Brulee, who's the most reasonable Texas State fan, I love Creme Brulee. Other than him, half of them just seem like they just don't know ball or don't know their own ball team, But, hey, all those playoff implications they thought they could have in the beginning of the season kind of fell flat in the face, and now they're a 500 ball team. Love you, Creme Brulee. I got nothing against you, buddy. But, damn, great win. Shout out to Group of 5. God bless Group of 5. God bless Group of 5 guys. God bless Keon Martin and his family. Go Cajuns. Also, Jeff, man, shout out to you for defending your family, knowing what to do, how to respond. You have better temper than me, brother, man. I don't know if that was me, if I could have helped myself and not put a bullet through that boy's head. I'm going to be honest with you. But shout out to you for defending your family, protecting them, and then happy to hear that you're okay. MAGA 2024, make Murfreesboro great again. Jeff Murphy for Murfreesboro mayor. You got my vote, bro, if I was a Tennessee resident. But, hey, happy that y'all okay.
I appreciate that, Terry. Yeah, that was a crazy situation. But, going back to the Cajuns, man, huge win for them. Wooldridge, I just love watching him play as a quarterback. He's smart. He's efficient. It's just getting it done win after win. Huge program, continued program builder for Dez and them guys. So we'll just keep this voicemail train rolling until Sprouse gets back.
Hey, this is SSN Army. We're coming off a bye week. I'm pumped this week for Air Force. But look, I just wanted to touch base on what you all were talking about at the end of your last show in terms of how we're going to get more than one G5 into the college playoff. I think the path is clear. You all talked about it. Boise State and Army, they both got to win out. One of them is going to get that fifth conference auto bid. The other one will get an at-large bid. I don't know if Army would jump Boise State if Boise State wins out. But regardless, I think that would be the ticket. But at the end, you all were talking about what happens if we get an upset in a P4 conference championship and all of a sudden a 2 or 3 loss team that's unranked or ranked real low, pulls off an upset, a la Kansas State beating TCU a few years back before TCU got mopped by Georgia in the national championship. Here's the problem with that. The college football playoff rankings are going to be determined after the conference championship. And so what happens is if all of a sudden some 2 or 3 loss Power 4 team with a puncher's chance pulls off some kind of upset, then what the committee is going to do is they're going to go, oh, well, they're not actually number 30 in the country. They're number 12, and they're going to jump 15 teams. And that's just what they're going to do because they don't want to see, the committee doesn't want 2 G5s, let alone 3. So that's what I think. I think that all of the storm and drang that we normally see or we used to see with the 4 team, it's going to be even bigger now, except now the G5s are getting involved because there's going to be all sorts of stuff because the committee's going to bend over backwards to make sure, some also ran in the SEC makes it in. So just my 2 cents, go Army, beat Air Force.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we know the committee's going to try and do whatever they can to get their brands in as many spots as humanly possible. But that's the best. Still can't hear you, Sprouse. I don't know if your thing's still muted. I say that's what happens when you go to the Pichadu. You lose your volume there. But yeah, I mean, that's what happens when, if Army wins out and Boise State wins out, that's our best shot, I think, to get 2 teams in. It's our best shot. And we just need to, hopefully that happens, because I want 2 teams in. That's what we got to have. We'll keep it rolling.
Hey guys, Zach Green here. Just calling in about this Liberty loss to Jack State on Wednesday night. First off, I want to give props to Jack State. They're on a roll right now, 5 wins in a row. Tyler Huff, Trey Stewart ran all over us last night. I mean, and that's just what they do. They've been doing this for several games in a row. I think they're going to keep doing it. And so I know Group of 5 guys, you respect them, but if there's anybody out there that does not respect Jack State at this point, put some respect on their name. Eastern Michigan earned that win against them. Coastal earned that win against them. Louisville earned that win against them. Can't take that away from any of those. Y'all earned it fair and square. But I think we're dealing with a little bit of a different team at this point in the year. I'm not saying they would have won all those games, but I think their record might be a little bit different. They put it together. But the fact that they're good can't be a moral victory for Liberty. You got to play better against the run game. Offensive wise for Liberty, we did have a pretty solid run game. Cooley and Salter had pretty good game on the ground, but the passing game was not good. Part of that's because we had 3 receivers out for injury. Part of that seemed to be some miscommunication on some routes. I don't know if that was Salter or the wide receivers part, but then part of it was just Salter. Some poor decisions, some inaccurate throws that should have been accurate. We're not talking about tight windows or anything on the throws that I'm thinking about. And I'll be honest, I'm a little bit concerned about Salter from like an attitude and leadership perspective, and a lot of Liberty fans are right now. He's really talented. I just need to see him, I don't know, something about getting his head in the game or something. Something needs to change there, and I'm a little bit concerned. But I know that if he wants to lock in and play good ball, I know he can do it. And he's shown a lot of flashes this year, and obviously he was killer last year. So I'm hoping he can get back to the way he was, and I know his weapons may not be exactly what they were last year either. So credit there where it's due. But yeah, we got to get back locked in. The season is not over. We are still in this conference championship race. If we win out, not going to be easy. Maybe not probable, but MTSU, Western, and Sam Houston, and Jack State wins out, including a win over Western at the end of the year, Liberty is in the conference championship game against Jack State. The only help we need is a Jack State win over Western. That's obviously very possible. So we got to bounce back. We got to get locked in. We got to play better ball. But I'm not giving up on it yet. We're still in this conference championship race. But yeah, man, this does suck. I'll admit it, this does suck. But hey, looking forward to being in Murfreesboro next weekend.
I appreciate you, Zach. Yeah, that's going to be I hate it for you guys, but the Blue Raiders are going to beat Liberty and knock you out of the conference championship, pal. No, but it's funny. He echoed the sentiments that we did about Salter and leadership and body language. Interesting point there.
You got me now, Jeff?
Oh, I got you, pal. You're back.
I've been sitting here. I was gonna I wanted to address the previous call about the Army sideline Army guy that called. Well, that's what you're going to start seeing. That's what you'll see the committee do. They'll start seeing the standings, and they'll start moving teams up that they think could be in the championship game, just to make sure that it's not a crazy jump, right? Like a 30 to a 10, but 15 to a 10 is very possible. And they'll start doing stuff like that. And again, that's why they went away from the divisions everywhere, because like we've been saying forever, there's like 2 or 3 good teams in every conference. And so now they can let those 2 teams play each other in the championship game instead of the risk of the Iowa upset of Ohio State. Right now it's going to be Oregon and Ohio State, and it won't matter. They'll both make the playoff anyway. So
that's right. Well, let's keep it going.
Group of five guys, how's it going? We got Spencer here in mid-state. Been a rough season for our Blue Raiders, but no judgment for Derek Mason until what we see him put on the field next year. Some metrics for number one in recruiting in Conference USA right now, which is obviously a good thing, and hopefully we can keep that momentum. Hopefully we can beat UTEP in the pillow fight of the week coming up. But main reason I called this event about our stupid-ass mayor in Murfreesboro. Mayor McFarland can kiss my ass. Giving the key to the city to a different Division I school coach within our own damn state. What a little middle piece of shit move. This mayor. Hope he gets taken out of office whenever he comes back up. I hope he wakes up with a horrible cold tomorrow. You, McFarland.
I mean, you had to know that you were going to get some backlash on that post. Whether
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
we talked about it a bunch the other day.
As much as I don't like that moniker, the little middle is actually pretty funny, and
it's pretty fitting.
I know Jeff is on the fact-finding mission, but I will say sort of what I believe I know to be true is that all of your leadership in Middle Tennessee, whether it's the mayor, the president of the university, the athletic department, they all consider it that. And then so we wonder why the students and alumni kind of act like that. And that's the problem that we have. Our leadership treats it like a second-class backup commuter school, and that's what it is. And that's what we're getting right now in the athletic department. And everybody thought it was Coach Stock's fault, but it's crazy. He was like fifth or sixth. Maybe this might go higher into the political world than we thought.
Yeah.
But you thought you could. I will never, ever, ever say anything other than Stock did more with less, and people are finally starting to realize how less it was.
Bingo.
Anyway,
no more needs to be said.
Group of five guys. Morgan here, resident Tulane fan. Ooh, baby, another booty kicking, this time on national TV. Mario Mackay Hughes goes for 165 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He's only got 452 yards and 4 touchdowns over the past 3 days. And he was just another dynamic weapon for us, keeps building on the reps. I do have to say, it's a little strange that the conference had us play 2 road games in 5 days. But hey, that don't matter. Only crushed them 34-3. But hey, Biff, nice Cuban cigars on the pregame show there. Too bad you don't get a chance to smoke them after this one. But I tell you what, this team really is special. I know I keep saying that, but it's true. We're so multiple. We find different ways to win. This time they held the ball for 40 minutes, had dang near 30 first downs, held them to 62 yards in the second half. Heck yeah, baby. This is a special team, and I can't wait for that Thanksgiving game against Memphis here at the end of November. Got homecoming coming up against Temple. Roll Wave. Bye, fellas.
Appreciate it, Morgan. Yeah, y'all looked the part. That Memphis game is going to be huge. I just hope the stadium's packed. I know Thanksgiving Day, that's a tough job to fill that stadium because kids are usually gone. A lot of different dynamics, people with their families, but it's going to be great to watch. I can't wait. Sprouse, did you see Charlotte yesterday? The quarterback rolled left. He threw the ball out of bounds, and Summerall just snags it in the crowd, or his teammates,
guys,
players start going nuts, and he just no expression on his face. He just throws the ball back, and he looks at his players. He's like.
Love that guy, dude.
He's so awesome.
Hey, I saw ESPN did the little tailgate thing. I cannot believe, maybe I missed it. I cannot believe they didn't go to the Normulance for that.
Once again, once again, just completely missing the boat. No,
They don't know.
No,
they don't know. They're just walking through the thing. If they even do that, they just find somebody with some food. And
well, hopefully, they wouldn't, because those guys, they're great over there. Jimmy and the Normans and those guys. They're like, there's only one pregame show that we allow at our tailgate.
That could be.
It's a group of 5 guys.
It could be. They might have kicked him out.
Let's get to our last caller and we'll end it.
Group of 5 guys, Jordan from Jack State. Second time, long time. When I called last week, Sprouse said I need to make sure I call back after Jack State plays Liberty on Wednesday. And I will admit it is much easier to make this call after Jack State ends up winning that game. And this would definitely be the opportune moment to gloat, but I'm not really here for that. I'm not really here to bash Liberty. I'm not here to taunt Phil. I think I took enough shots at him on Twitter last night. I'm actually here to, act like I've been here before and honestly thank Liberty for giving us such a tough test on the road. Like, you go look at our win streak, you'll see some wins and a ton of rushing yards against some schools that have just not had a good year this year. So to be able to win a game that wasn't decided until the final 2 minutes on the road against a team like Liberty, against a school that's able to invest so much into that football program, the good coaches they have, the talent they're able to get there every year, passionate students they always have, like they're the stuff of legends. I appreciate everything Liberty brought into that environment and for giving us such a good test on the road. And we got a statement win over a team with a winning record, inside track to the conference championship game now. Got some business to handle before we get there, but it's looking good for us. I do want to say, like, all the back and forth that I've had on Twitter with Phil, I'll have that energy for anybody in this conference who acts like they are too good to be here. And it's totally fine if you want to play more of your neighboring schools or some rivals who happen to be in other conferences, or if you just want a tighter footprint. But what's not fine is dragging this place name through the mud or dragging anyone's school through the mud. And, if it's an improved reputation you want, then just be patient, because that's going to build. The product on the field is going to take care of itself. But the way that we talk about this place and the way that we interact with each other, that's our duty. So anyway, I've taken up enough of your time. I'll hang up now and listen to your thoughts. Stay cocky for the beat.
Appreciate you, Jordan. I don't know if you're a former player or how long you've been listening to our show, but you just get it.
Got it.
You just get it.
Well, first of all, he said, I'm trying to act like I've been there. We have been there, Jordan. We're here last week with a great call. But, he's right. And I think, when you look at, everybody looks to the Sun Belt, right? Like, it's a great conference, and it is. And if you looked at the Sun Belt, I bet you when James Madison came in and dominated it right away, I bet you the thoughts from the other programs were like, first it was probably like, oh shit, like they're going to be a problem. But then their other thought is like, hell yeah, our conference just got that much better. And I think when you look at Conference USA and you look at Jack State and Sam Houston, both in their second year, both being in the top 4, at least, 4 or 5 of the conference, it's probably like, damn, now we got to worry about beating Jack State every year. But it's also like, we just got 2 good teams, 2 good programs. And, you look at some of the programs that are bad right now, middle, UTEP. Well, UTEP's going to be out of here. But historically, they're contending for conference championships. So, again, the conference is not as bad as everybody thinks. I mean, your Western Kentuckys, your Jack States, your Liberties, you can go beat anybody. So, I don't know. Now, I'll say this for the Liberty fans, and we have been one of the few that have stuck up for Liberty as a whole. But yeah, listen, Conference USA is the one that took you. Again, it's like we talk about. It's kind of the same mindset as what we talk about with fans, right? Well, I grew up a Tennessee fan. I grew up but they didn't want you. You didn't go there. They denied your application, like, or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be. So it's like, hey man, Sunbelt didn't want you. American didn't want you. Conference USA did. So why spend all your time bashing? Yeah, you couldn't date the hottest girl in the high school, but I mean, you're gonna bash your prom date all night? No, I don't get stuff like that. Really pisses me off, actually.
Yeah. And here's the thing, like, again, I would say it's a small contingent of a lot of fan bases around the country that are a little bit irrational, that just kind of like to say things and don't really understand the greater picture. Because if you build your conference, it's going to help build your program. It's going to help get you where you want to go. And that's ultimately what's important. Everything else will shake out how it's supposed to. Take us home, Sprouse.
That's the last one.
That's it.
I probably could have held it, Jeff, if I really needed to. But I tell you, I'm eating candy that I don't normally eat. We had the food trucks. I had some barbecue, like a beef skewer from the Philippines.
Nice.
Filipino food truck there. We had a Filipino food truck. We had a Korean barbecue food truck. We had some kind of a Latin something or other food truck, and then we had a donut and like corn dog, almost like a carnival.
Nice
food truck. And we got big neighborhood yard sale happening on Saturday. So I'm gonna
big weekend for the Sprouse household.
Big weekend in the Sprouse house. I'm trying to make some money here, Jeff, so I can pay the bills around here. So we're gonna sell some toys, sell some clothes. You never know, but depending on how long it goes, you're damn right. Everybody's going to learn all about the Army triple option on Saturday. all these people coming up to try to bargain with me when I got a price tag on the damn item. No, I won't sell it for a quarter. Actually, I will. If I'm out there and my wife's not out there, yeah, what do you want to pay, buddy? Take it.
You can have it.
Get rid of it. Just honestly, tell you what, buy that, get everything else for free. But guys, we thank you all for watching. We thank you all for listening. Make sure you do the most important thing you can do is hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and hit the follow button on all the socials. That's what helps the algorithm when people want to search college football, group of 5 football. When everybody starts searching for Army and Boise State as we get closer to the playoff, and these P4 fans want to at least have somewhat of an education on who they're about to play, when they search Boise State or Army or Tulane or whoever it is, they find us first. That's what we need by you guys leaving comments, subscribing, hitting the like button. So make sure you do that. Follow us on all the social platforms at Group of 5 Guys. Go to groupof5guys.com. Get you some Group of 5 Guys merch. Hope you guys have a great Friday, a great football weekend, and we will see you Monday morning. We're out of here.